No, I don't think it was a referendum on Palin. I mean, you know, she was a big boom to the the Washington stores here, and we hadn't suffered nearly the kind of unemployment that other stores have suffered. I mean, really, it was great. I think it was two things. It was a negative vote against the Bush administration. When a president is, in the high 20s, low 30s for 2.5 years, he's very unpopular, and people don't like him, and they want something very different. And of course, McCain was running against Bush, as was Obama. I don't think any Republican could have been elected given the economic meltdown after mid-September. I think it's as simple as that. I think that Obama won because more people identified themselves as Democrats in 2008 than they did in 2004. He gained about a 9% advantage in partisan identification, which is very important. Number two, he won because conditions were very bad. When economic conditions are bad, you blame the party that's been in control of the White House, which was the Republicans. And number three, I think Obama won because, unlike 2004, when the Republicans had a great turnout mechanism, the Democrats had it in 2008, and it wasn't the turnout on Election Day. It was the 30% turnout before Election Day that mattered. Yes, sir.
I've heard it said that behind the veil of the White House, behind the veil of the White House that Bush may have been somewhat of a prop up as opposed to his own man. I don't know if that's true or not, but how would you assess the people that surrounded him?
In the Cheney administration?
In the first term versus the second term.
Well, many of them were the same people or their clones. And many of the people that moved up in the second term were in the position of deputies during the first term. Dan Bartlett for Karen Hughes. Ken Mellman was the political guy under Karl Rove, and he helped run the second term re-election campaign. Josh Bolton had been a deputy, and then he was the OMB director, and then moved over. So one of the things the president did not do was bring in a lot of new people. He brought in people who had served him, who had worked hard, and for the principal criteria of this administration had demonstrated their loyalty. They were on board. They knew the direction the president wanted to go. The president surrounded himself with like-minded people. I do not know whether these people made decisions which the president accepted, or whether they knew what the president wanted and they believed the same thing. It seems to me that there was, I agree that we can use the term groupthink, certainly in national security policy, to describe the people around the Bush presidency, but I don't know if he was a prop or the real thing. I just know that they all moved in the same direction. And if they didn't, they were pushed off. Yes, sir.
You did invite jokes.
Yes, absolutely. Let me get my pen out. Go on.
I don't know how many people remember the occasion of Ronald Reagan's inaugural party that Rich Little entertained. He took on two personas, one as an interviewer, one as the newly elected inaugurated president. And he said, Mr. President, you've said that you're going to cut taxes, increase defense spending, and balance the budget. Can you tell me how you're going to do that? And Reagan replied, oh, it's really very simple. I'll keep 2 sets of books. Now, I've been a long-time Republican, and I've changed my affiliation to independent because I'm dissatisfied with both political parties. I've been convinced for a long time that the greatest threat to the United States is not a foreign military power and not terrorists, but our own fiscal irresponsibility. I have seen our national debt balloon under the Bush administration. He inherited, actually, a blockade from the Clinton administration. which may have been just a temporary and fortuitous turn of events for that particular president. Nevertheless, we have these problems. And I think my fundamental question, I'll finally get to the question, is about the philosophy of the man. We have observed a president who certainly has been consistent. He certainly has been strong. But he has also raised questions in my mind about his underlying principles as a president, not of all the people, but of a particular subset of the people of the United States. His first threat to veto anything, if I recall correctly, was the Dubai port deal. I found that very strange. I found that very strange that he would take such an active role in that particular issue. His first real veto, I believe, was stem cell research. Now, the Bush legacy will live on. Whether it's good or bad remains to be seen. We can't predict today how good he's going to be seen by historians 100 years from now. The fact of the matter is that the United States has been living in my opinion, a delusion. The world's most richest country. We're living on borrowed money. And it starts at the top. We need leadership which explains the fact that you don't spend beyond your means.
Okay.
We've been doing this over and over again, and the full faith and credit of the United States will become meaningless when we cannot afford the interest rates, which are inevitably going to go up, I think, on our debt.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
my question for you is, could you speak to the philosophy of the president and why it is he seems so willing to let the ends justify the means?